Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Judson Phillips from Tea Party Nation. Who's a member of Tea Party Nation? How many of y'all are on the Tea Party Nation website? How many of y'all are not on the Tea Party Nation website? Why not? Seriously, Tea Party Nation is a home for conservatives. It is a great resource. It is a place where you can go, you can meet fellow conservatives, you can exchange ideas. It's absolutely wonderful. We give you some great content, and we've got something great coming up in January, which I can't tell you about. I was hoping to be able to talk about it on the tour. Hadn't quite gotten there yet, but be there. Join us on teapartynation.com. Thank y'all for coming out. It is my high honor and privilege to introduce the next person who's coming up. She's a member of a very exclusive club. It is a club that I am not a member of and that I pray I never join. Your initiation into that club begins when a military chaplain knocks on your front door. It continues a few days later when an officer hands you a tri-folded flag and utters the words, "This is given with the thanks of a grateful nation." Mark Allen Lee, Petty Officer, United States Navy, made the ultimate sacrifice for his country in Ramadi, Iraq. His mother, Debbie Lee, made the ultimate sacrifice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a truly amazing American, Debbie Lee.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being patient and sticking around. This is our favorite part of the program. This is when we get the chance to thank all of those men and women who've served, who've sacrificed, who've fought, who've bled, and to remember those who've died for the very freedoms that we have here in America. How many of you are glad that you woke up this morning with woke up in America with the freedoms that you have here in America? It's because of our men and women who serve, and if you are one of those men or women who served, would you raise your hand high and keep waving it so we can thank you for your service? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Folks, look around. Those are America's heroes. Those are the ones that were willing to die for the very freedoms that you enjoy each and every day. The day that my son willingly gave his life was August 2nd, 2006. It was 115, 120 degrees that day in Ramadi, Iraq. They'd been in a fierce firefight. For 2 hours they had been fighting. Mark was about 6 foot tall. He weighed about 200 pounds, but he carried the big gun, so he carried anywhere from 150 to 180 pounds in addition to his own weight. I can't even imagine fighting for 2 hours in 115, 120 degree temperatures, carrying 150 to 180 pounds. There were 4 of the SEALs that were on the rooftop that day. Mark's buddy Ryan had been severely injured, and they could tell by looking at him it didn't look good. 2 of the SEALs dropped to their knees to help Ryan. This young man made the choice to stand up into the direct line of fire, hoping to draw attention to himself and provide the cover so they could get the medic up to the roof. The medic got up there and he took one look at Ryan. He said, "We got to get him out of here immediately or there's no chance for survival." So not once, but a second time, this young man made the choice to stand up into the direct line of fire to provide the cover so they could get down off of that roof. They all successfully got down off of there, and they sent Ryan off for medical attention, and they crawled in their Humvees and headed back to the base. And I've tried to imagine what was going on in their heads as they took that trek back to the base. We've watched our Navy SEALs do amazing things. They seem superhuman to us. But I know these SEALs, and I can tell you, they're very human. They had to be exhausted physically and emotionally. I'm sure they were thinking they just narrowly missed death themselves. And as they pulled into that base and started to take their gear off and started to get some water to refresh themselves, the chief came in, said, "We just found 30 of the insurgents that just attacked us. Are you guys up to going back out?" I had the privilege of visiting Ramadi, Iraq, Camp Mark Lee, the base that was named after this young man. I know that on the other side of Camp Mark Lee is a Marine base, and if they'd asked me, I'd have said, "Go find some of the Marines who are fresh and who are ready for battle and haven't been out in the last 24 hours. But that wasn't the character of this young man, nor is that the character of the Navy SEALs. Mark took one look at his chief and he said, "Roger that, let's go get him." They crawled in the Humvees and they headed back into Ramadi. They went in, cleared several houses. They went in the last house that Mark would be in. They cleared the bottom of the house and they started to proceed up the steps. and they drew fire through a window. And for the last, final time, this young man made the choice to turn into that direct line of fire. He didn't run from it. He did that defending his buddies. He did that defending each one of us here in America. He did that because he believed in America and what our founding fathers intended this country to be. He willingly gave his life and gave the gift of life to each one of us. And I'm so proud of that young man. I miss him very deeply. But we cannot waste the sacrifice of each one of these men and women who raised their hands here today. We cannot waste the sacrifice of our men and women who are in Iraq and Afghanistan right now fighting for the very freedoms that we have. We cannot waste the sacrifice of our fallen heroes who gave their last breath for this country. I've given my very best for this country, and I'm sure none of you would say anything different if I chose to sit home. I've done my best. But Mark didn't quit. He ran into the line of fire, and I won't quit. I will run into the line of fire with my last breath, and I want to know, will you join me in the fight for America? Will you join us at Tea Party Express to reclaim America? Woohoo! I've been very blessed as I've traveled across this country to have two amazing individuals that are gifted with musical talent that is amazing. You heard them up here earlier, Ron and Kay Rivoli. And I would like them to join me as we continue to honor our men and women who've served and sacrificed. They've written an amazing song called Freedom is Not Free.
Debbie Lee, everyone. Out here on Mark Lee.
I saw a flag pass by one day and it fluttered in the breeze. A young Marine saluted it, and then he stood at ease. I watched him in the crowd that day, so young, so tall, so proud, with hair cut square and eyes alert. He'd stand out in any crowd. I thought of all the men like him who had fallen through the years, of how many had died on foreign soil, how many mothers' tears, how many pilots' planes shot down, how many had died at sea, how many foxholes were soldiers' graves, for freedom is not free. I heard the sound of taps one night when everything was still. And as the bugler played it, I felt a sudden chill. You see, I wondered just how many times those taps had meant amen, as a flag had draped the coffin of a father, brother, friend. I thought of all the children, all the mothers and the wives, all the husbands, sons, and daughters with interrupted lives. And then I thought about a graveyard at the bottom of the sea and of an unmarked grave in Arlington, for freedom is not free.
In the morning, in a land where you are free, you should think about the ones who fought protecting liberty. You should fly a flag in honor of the price they had to pay. Yes, every day throughout this land should be Memorial Day.
For some gave all, they paid the price. For freedom's here, they sacrificed. They gave their lives for you and me. Their graves remind us freedom's not free.
majesty above the fruited plains. You should tell them of the soldiers who had courage and were brave, who fought in wars and battles to ensure Old Glory waves.
For some gave all, they paid the price. For freedom's here, they sacrificed. They gave their lives for you and me. Their graves remind us freedom's not free.
They stood with pride and honor, fought with dignity to protect the ones who couldn't fight, and a land that we call free.
We should honor fallen heroes by flying our flags high, to salute the men and women who have fought and who have died.
For some gave all, they paid the price. For freedom's here, they sacrificed.
They gave their lives
For you and me,
their graves remind us freedom's not free. Their graves remind us freedom's not
thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If you would like to take that song home to educate others on the sacrifices paid, we have it available on CD. One housekeeping tip, please clean up around you. It's the Tea Party way to leave it cleaner than it is when we got here. Please stop by the booth to encourage Debbie in her fight. And now to close us out, Mr. Lloyd Marcus.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life and I had to start again. Just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars that I'm living here today. 'Cause that flag still stands for freedom, and Obama can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. How you doing, brother? All right. Oh. From the lakes, Minnesota, to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, see the shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA, there's pride in all our hearts, and that's why we stand and say, sing it like you mean it, folks, come on. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died, gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, well, at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died and gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. God bless you, folks. We love you. Tea Party Express rolling out.
Hi, this is Alan Olson with the Columbia Tea Party. I just wanted to say, give a round of applause for Tea Party Express for inviting us and joining in with them. Now, they also invited us to be co-sponsors in this debate in Tampa on Monday. When you watch this debate, watch all the candidates, listen to all the answers, but most important, listen to the issues. The issues is what's going to determine our future. So we need to take our country back, and it's going to start with the issues, not the candidates. So pay attention. Thank you.
Thank you.